2021 at 5:33 p.m. To order. Item 2 will be the roll call. Troy Stinson present.
John Martin present.
Neil Erickson present.
Stacy Popovich present.
Sherry Ringen present.
Okay, that's 5. We do have a quorum. We'll motion to enter executive session for determined position to matters that may be subject to negotiations under CRS 24640224E. That would be the Grandview Agreement, requested tap fee adjustment, and material price increases in reference to the rec center expansion building, and then personnel matters under CRS 246401 F1 for general manager's review, annual review.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, got a motion and I need a second.
Second.
Okay, with a motion by Stacy and a second by John. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in executive session.
Okay, I'm going to move all of the non-executive session participants to the waiting room, and then after executive session has ended, I will move you back into the main meeting.
Okay.
Sherry, what are the first 3 digits of your phone number?
719.
491-719-491.
719.
Yeah, thank you. Got it. Okay. So let
367.
367. Okay. Okay, Troy, what staff members should remain in the meeting?
Well, we're going to be, who all do we have?
All right, so
Actually, we'll need all 3 of them in here because we've got, unless Jerry doesn't want them in here for his review, the other 2. As far as the other things, Hammers and Grandview, we just keep them all 3 in here, I reckon.
Yeah.
You all right with that, Jerry?
That's fine.
No, we get in that executive session here on the Zoom call, and it feels like you're just in this little box, and with 5, 6 of your closest friends.
Okay, everybody is back in.
All right. Then we are on item 4. President's welcome. I apologize for I guess we did go pretty long on the executive session. But welcome everybody. I see we got a lot of folks here tonight, a lot more than normal. So welcome everybody to the meeting. I know we haven't had them very here in a while, other than special meetings and things. But, we're back on track here for this year as far as our meetings, 4th Thursday every month. And I hope everybody's doing great out there, even given the circumstances surrounding everything going on with the pandemic and the things being closed around town and things shut, schools closed down and a lot of hardship out there. So I'm hoping that we can have shown some fiscal responsibility here to kind of help us along the way here through this year. I don't think we're going to get any relief anytime soon as far as the direction this is going here for going into this summer. So with that being said, would somebody like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I think Daniel has the flag for us. Anybody? Oh, come on. Daniel, how about you? You never lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I will. Let me grab the flag. Hold on one second. I'm having trouble sharing my screen.
I see you.
Yes, I'm trying to make it so that you're seeing my flag.
Oh,
Give me just one more minute.
And while you're doing that, do we have the folks to represent Hammers Construction here with us?
Yes, Steve Hammers is here.
Okay.
Elliot Smith is here.
All right. Hey, welcome, guys. We're gonna. I don't think you have the agenda in front of you, but we'll stick you in when we get to the Park and Rec report as part of the Park and Rec report on that building and have our discussion on that. If that's all right with you guys, you got a few minutes?
Sure, we do.
Perfect. All right, Daniel, floor is yours.
I pledge allegiance to the
the
flag
flag
United States
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Daniel.
My
Uh-oh.
great pleasure.
What happened? All right. Approval and disapproval of the board minutes. Item 6. Do I have a motion for approval or disapproval of the minutes?
A motion to approve the board or the minutes as stated.
And I think there were multiple ones in there, correct?
Do we need to do each one of them, Tad, or can we do them as a whole?
I think we can do them as a whole.
Agreed.
And there were what, we had 2 meetings in there?
I think 3.
Okay, yeah, the third one. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, so I have who motioned to approve?
I motion to approve.
Okay, I got a motion by Neil to approve and a second by Stacy, and that's for approval of the board minutes for October 22nd, November 13th, and December 3rd. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right. IT discussion. Jeremy, you on here?
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome. Okay, somebody lead. I forget. Neil, you were leading this one, weren't you? You and Jeremy, or is it?
I think Rachel had asked him to come in, just talking about some of the projects we spoke about a while back. So just trying to figure out ETA timelines and what's going on with IT for the district.
Okay. The floor is yours, Rachel and Jeremy. What do we got going on?
Okay, give you a brief update over the last month as far as workstations. We've been updating those. The initial projects that we were looking at for moving to cloud services were greatly impacted by COVID. When COVID first hit, the government took a large portion of the Microsoft Azure services, and that caused not a decline in the service. You could still get the service, but it wasn't going to be guaranteed at any rate until they beefed up their thing. Cloud services were hit in a big way with COVID because everybody had to move home. So with that, and QuickBooks was also hit really big because a lot of small businesses had to move their items to the cloud environment, and they were trying to rush to catch up with the game. Their cloud services weren't good, so we were having to work around it. We have worked around those and are hopeful by the end of February that we will have everything up and running for you guys on the cloud, and then things will be moving really well. Neil, I saw you light up. So.
Just it made a noise.
Okay. Prior to all of this, Dale Erickson and I had talked, and we had went through and looked at the possibilities of using Macs and other storage devices. With the way that the employees at the various offices through Woodman Hills utilize technology, the decision was made that Windows was still going to be the best platform for them. They were familiar with it, was going to cut down on learning time and keep productivity in place and moving ahead.
What was the cost difference between doing those two, making that choice and that change?
Rachel knows more of the workstation cost, but from what I know of the pricing that they got, it was actually minimal compared to the Macs that we had spoken of. The Macs were a little bit less expensive, but the hardware that they got for the new workstations that they've received is top notch. So it is on par with what they would have gotten, just a bit of a difference with, as you know, Neil, the usability factor.
Sure, I don't have a problem with them going to, you know,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
so it's not an issue. I was just told by Jerry that their software at the office was not compatible with Mac.
And he's not incorrect. It's not. We're making steps towards making changes to where it is more compatible with things in the future. It's just, unfortunately, a lot of the rec software, as I think you researched some, Neil, and I looked into, it uses a lot of legacy technology that wasn't built for updated items. Those things are being worked out, but it's going to take a little bit of time.
No, I was told that they also purchased new software for that facility, so they're not alone using the Galaxy software, so that shouldn't be an issue at all.
At this point, yes. Rachel?
It is not our Max Galaxy software that's not compatible. It is our billing software with Kuzi and UMS that we use that is not compatible with Max.
Oh, and that's fine. Like I said, originally, you know, I didn't care if it was Mac or if it wasn't. What I was more concerned with was looking at the line item breakdowns on the budget and the cost overheads that we had on prior purchases, purchasing directly from Dell, you know, at the rates that they were at as far as Dell was concerned. So, you know, I didn't have an issue from a budget standpoint as long as we weren't spending what we were spending on Dell and that it came in, you know, likewise, you know, as a statement so everybody knows, Mac runs Windows. So I think it's a moot point. You know, I don't care. You know, you guys have to use it every day. I use both. So it doesn't matter to me. You know, what I'm concerned with is that the value of the software and the hardware was upgraded to standards so that we didn't have compromised security issues as far as the district was concerned. You know, that was the main concerns that I had, is just making sure that our data, our information, our database and everything was safe and secure. You know, and the second thing that I stressed to you, Rachel, that we had talked about was timeline on cloud service projects and what was being done and what's being transferred. And then, of course, Jeremy and I had a long conversation about actually putting a local file server in the office to make things run faster, which there again, I don't care if you use or not, just as long as we have a system that's right. So I'm more interested in what we're doing as far as future projects for IT, what the timeline is. If Azure not doing it, because last I heard was May when I came in, we were still doing a cloud transfer for a server.
It's supposed to be in here somewhere.
Take about a week on your timeline, Jeremy, and I was told by Rachel about last month that it still was not complete.
And that's correct. It wasn't complete. The reasoning for that, the servers and everything in the cloud have actually been built. It's the third-party software and getting them working in the cloud that was the issue.
I see.
Troy, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I am going to have to go to work. So you guys have a great night.
Bye, Sherry.
Hey, Troy, while we have an interruption, can we ask everybody that if they're not speaking to please put their deal on mute, whether it's their phone or their computer, mute them so we can hear the conversation that's going on, not all the stuff in the background.
Yeah, I heard somebody in the background there. Is everybody, it looks like everybody's muted, except for whoever is the phone number's last four of 5803.
I'll be the mute monitor and mute people who need muting too.
So you have a community, you have a list of timelines and everything that's given to Rachel, and Rachel knows what direction you're going with the IT systems for the office?
We had a list previously. The majority of it has been through conversations that Rachel and I have been having, and she's been very patient with all the changes that we've had to make because honestly, working with third-party software and trying to get it working, it's kind of out of our hands and trying to schedule things with them. But it's been a progress and we're on the back end of it now.
I see. Okay. And what kind of time frame are you guys looking at in finishing and buttoning up and moving the cloud servers over?
If everything goes well with QuickBooks, which it should this week, I'll say the end of February. My actual goal is within 2 weeks, but just because of life, I'm going to give a 2-week buffer.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. I mean, and I just mainly want to get an idea. I know that the office doesn't understand a lot about the IT, and I'm glad we got a huge push to redo all the computers and get them updated, which I'm hoping is working a lot better for the district. Because as you and I talked, you know, there was quite a few machines that were legacied and security issues.
Yeah, and I think that having your expertise and input on it was a very good thing and helped push that along. So thank you for that. I think the biggest challenge we have now, as I'm sure you're aware of, is Microsoft and stuff pushing updates out that they don't tell anybody about and making changes. So little things like that we'll have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, but that's just part of the industry. So.
Sure. Well, my little jab back is to tell you that Mac doesn't do that often. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm just teasing. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. I think it'd be a timeline. I don't know if Rachel's asking for a timeline that she can share with the board so we can get an idea where these projects are. That would be helpful as far as the community is concerned.
Yeah, I can get one written up and sent out to her and Jerry.
Okay, perfect.
Is there any other questions I can answer for anybody else?
No, I'm the wrong guy to be asking IT questions.
I do have a question. At one point in time, it was brought up on whether we're going to lease or purchase. I don't know what we did. Did we lease or did we purchase?
Rachel, correct me, but I believe it was a lease.
Yes, we leased.
Or these going to renew every 2-3 years?
3 years, every 3 years.
Because I think you guys' newest computer was 7 years old in there?
It was, yeah.
No,
Go ahead, Rachel.
I was going to say mine was 2018 or something like that, but other than that, everyone else is old.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that she set it up is going to ensure the proficiency and stability of technology in the future for them, and she's done a great job with it.
Question?
Go ahead, Ted.
I've seen on leases where an advantage over purchase is that periodically there are updates provided as an element of the lease so that the user is always on current equipment. Is that the case here where there will be updates, or is it what you got is what you stick with?
I believe what we have for the 3 years is what we have, and then we'll update after that.
Yeah, knowing the vendor that she used, I'm sure they would be willing to work. If something was needing to be changed, we just have to work through how the rest of the contract and folding that into things.
All right, I've seen that. It's not uncommon at all. It's the advantage of a lease. It's
Correct.
always current with your.
Yeah, and she chose a good company that is good with that, and they do have a history of doing that.
Okay.
Do they buy back those units after 3 years, or what do they do?
For them, I didn't look specifically at the contract, but it's usually fairly general, and they do have that option in there. It's either they buy back or usually they'll give a buy option for the customer.
Okay. Perfect.
If I'm misspeaking on anything, Rachel, just tell me to be quiet.
So the only
you're good.
The only other question I have is Jed still can't get email at home.
what's happening with, what's the problem. And we can take this offline if you want.
Yeah, that'll, you probably have to take offline. I just didn't know if you're aware, so.
Also, the cell phone issue who was handling the cell phone issue?
I handed that off to Jerry,
Okay.
so I'm not sure where that's at or what's been done with it, so.
Well, I'll make a note now and I'll touch base with them in the morning.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, that's all I had questions about, so. I know that John had a ton of questions.
John?
No, I think I asked my question.
Maybe it was Stacy.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate you being here tonight.
Not a problem. You guys have a good night.
Thank you.
So
I just let him off this thing and now you
I
want
know, but I guess who's going to answer the cell phone question? I thought it was passed off to Jerry.
We have upgraded our cell phones.
Oh, we have.
Yeah, that was done a couple weeks ago. The only thing that slowed it down was the holidays. Nobody was in the office at Verizon to get the order taken care of. So it got taken care of right after the holiday.
So we should see an updated phone list tomorrow.
Phone numbers are the same.
Jed and Rachel didn't have phones before.
Jed and Rachel, you guys want phones?
I don't need a phone. I'm always at the office.
It was my understanding that the three of them were getting phones,
Yeah,
like work phones.
I thought we were going with Jerry, Jed, and with the directors having phones.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were doing too.
The main reason for it is because I didn't want to call Rachel or Jed on their personal.
Well, it became an issue when Jerry was in the hospital and we needed to get a hold of somebody. I mean, what if you just never came out of the hospital, Jerry? Then what are we supposed to do?
Well, that's a good point. I don't really have an answer for that, but the discussion between us, what I recall, I did it unless I dropped the ball, is that we opted to not to have phones. Am I wrong, Rachel, Jed? I mean, do you guys want phones? I'm sorry. It's either that or you share your personal cell phone numbers, but I'll just leave it up to you.
Well, they have employees that work for them that are, if they need to call in sick, if they need whatever that needs to happen, those two are point of contact for employees. So they definitely are going to need district phones. They shouldn't be using their own personal phones for that. They should have a district phone where those folks can reach out and say, hey, I can't come in. I'm stuck out here in a field somewhere, or whatever. Jerry getting a hold of Rachel saying, hey, I'm sick in the hospital. Can you make sure you're at the district office today to take care of things like that. So I think it's of the utmost that those two enterprise heads have district phones.
I'll contact Verizon tomorrow.
And just so Jed and Rachel understand, it's not because we want to call them and blow them on their cell phones all the time.
Oh, I'm going to call Jed in the middle of the night.
Yeah. He's best at 3:45 a.m.
I don't think I'll get service at my house. So
You're on Verizon, right?
Yeah, they'll be on Verizon.
I can get cell phone coverage out at your place out there in Simla.
I don't know. I think just at my house, it's a dead zone. Sorry.
Yeah, nice try. All right, we're gonna move on. That's a yeah, good excuse. Item 8 will be the attorney's report. Ted, what you got for us?
First, to back up just a hair to let the other folks who are on the call be aware. Woodman was approached by DL Horton regarding a proposed very large development. For the district to become involved in considering it, the district decided it wanted to have what we're calling a soft cost agreement, whereby the costs that the district incurs in addressing the feasibility of this project would be paid by Horton has a subsidiary, Melody Homes. And so we have over time negotiated we call it a soft cost agreement. It was finally approved by everybody yesterday. Troy has it and is going to sign off on it. So that's that. Second, the rec center, there is an agreement regarding, we had an earlier discussion regarding Hammer, and we'll get to that later on with the folks who are here. But a separate part of that is the flooring for the rec center. And there is an agreement in place signed by Troy regarding the floor. So that is under contract. And I think $11,000 was recently paid as the first payment under that agreement. Next, there is ongoing, and it is far from resolved, discussions with Paintbrush regarding the district's relationships with them. We have sent to them an itemized list of issues to be discussed, and I'm waiting to hear back from them. It turned slower than it should have because unfortunately they lost the first letter, and I kept waiting for a response. Didn't get it, got a hold of them, and then we resent the letter. So I'm waiting to hear back from them regarding the letter. And then finally, there's an easement matter that Jerry and I are working on regarding, is there an easement or is there isn't, regarding a section of the Guthrie line that's in the air right now, not resolved.
Guthrie or Tamlin?
No, that was my thought too. I thought it was Tamlin, but no, it's Guthrie.
Okay.
Guthrie line, it's a housekeeping item that goes back quite a few years. Ted, I did owe you a reply. I apologize, but I've been trying to determine if it's just one easement that we need or if there's more. So I've been working on making sure that we get all of this business taken care of at once.
Jerry, can I do a title search or not?
I believe JDS looked into that. I will confirm with them. If they haven't, then we'll have you do one.
All right. I don't know how they could do it, but whatever. All right. And that's it, Troy.
Okay. Thanks, Ted. All right, item 9 will be approval or disapproval of the financials. These are the financials for October, November, and December. Are included in your packets.
I'll make a motion to approve the financials for October, November, and December.
Okay.
I second.
All right, I have a motion for approval of financials from Stacy, a second by Neil. Any other discussion on them? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. John, did I hear you on there? Hello?
No, because I keep forgetting to turn this thing off of mute. Aye.
All right. Now motion carries 4-0. All right, item 10 will be Parks and Rec report. And if you don't mind, Jed, I'm going to let Steve and Elliot kick us off with to finish up that Hammers piece, and then we'll get into all of your crazy shenanigans over there in Parks and Rec. All right, Steve, Elliot, you guys still here?
Here.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'll let you guys take it away and kind of explain what we got going on in the great COVID pandemic and supply chain suffering of the U.S. right now.
Well, Steve Hammers here. Been an unusual year. This year is not only do we got issues with building department and people working at home and permitting and all that good stuff, the price increases seem to be just getting hammered through us. We had a lot of different price increases since the first of the year, but there just seem to be ongoing. The biggest price increase that we're having is the steel market is very volatile at this moment. And we've experienced almost a 30% increase. In the metal building industry, it depends upon certain things, the complexity and the total weight of each building. And that weight and the complexity really is a multiplier that the manufacturers use. And in some cases, they're up to about a 30% increase. In this case, it's about an 18, right at 19% increase. There is more volatility coming. We don't know what that means. We were told that this Friday, we were going to have another 4 to 5, but after talking to the manufacturer today, they don't know what that means quite yet. And one of the biggest reasons why the steel's having issues, there's 2 steel plants down, one in Pennsylvania due to a strike, and one in Ohio. I still don't understand what's going on in Ohio, but most of that is the steel coils, which makes our purlins and our girt systems. So they've been having a pretty volatile market with that. They started buying product from China, but they're paying tariffs on it. And they're looking at product from North Korea, not North Korea, but North Vietnam. They've got access to some products there, but they're on our hit list for tariff list. So really, it's getting it out of China at this moment, and that's been affecting the volatility of the steel. There's many other factors, but in my career, we've never seen such a run of these price increases, except for right at 2008 when we started having the crash. So there's been a number of increases in concrete. Concrete went up $8 a yard in January 1, and it looks like concrete's going to go up another $6 in April here. Yep. So there's a number of increases. The steel stud market got affected. There's going to be increases in the steel stud market, and that kind of relates back to those 2 plants down in the cold rolled steel problem. But what we'd like to do is we want to reprice this real hard again. You know, everybody's, even though the construction industry is just running really, really hard right now, we know residential's running hard and commercial's running hard. There's this little unknown factor that continues to ping on us. 1, the election. 2, we're not getting permits as fast as we normally do. So some projects are getting pushed a lot, not only in the city, but in the county. And that's affecting start dates. So what that means is we really want to go out to the market one more time, bid this thing hard, see if we can improve our price and save these cost increases to help the district. And that's what we're doing at the current moment. And if my assumption's correct, there's going to be some hungry guys. I particularly have got projects stalled in different departments at the city and the county. And it's just all a matter of timing. And it's partly related to COVID because they're at home and not pushing like we think they should be. We're seeing developments and platting take forever. You guys are doing a very simple amended development plan. That's a lot easier than when you're doing a replat or a plat. and plots are taking forever. We got one that 7 lots is taking it. We bought the project in 2019 in July, and we're just now getting our plat recorded. So that's been some of the issues, but really the pricing is here to stay. We're going to see how it all shakes out here in the next couple months, but we think we got a good plan. We did get some concessions from our metal building manufacturer to 18. There's a period now where we order the building for plans for permit. We get the plans for permit. We review those documents. We engage our structural engineer to design the foundations, the facility, and then we engage our MEP team to go through the same processes. So we're making sure that when we physically order that building for production, we don't have any issues with it when it hits the site. And that makes it a lot easier and faster. And that's been the normal MO. Some of the problems are trying to stave off the price increases. We don't want to order too early because we can get the building sitting on the site. The one thing that we are experiencing now too is they're saying they're going to take a couple more months to deliver just because of the shortage of the products. And that's kind of up in the air as well with the plants. But that's kind of our game plan. We know that we've got this $39,000 hit from the metal building manufacturer. We're going to go back out in the street, see what we can do, and if we can approve it. I did get Martin Marietta to hold my concrete price. I'm hoping that we won't have that issue, because once I have a list, I have a number of listed at the plant where they're going to hold my original price. These projects like yours that we have contracted, so we've staved off that $8 a yard. So we're working the best we can to just price protect it, but we really need to go out in the street one more time and just see if we can't drill down the numbers.
So what are your recommendations for us here as far as materials and things?
Well, I would sit tight for a couple weeks. I feel better now that I talked to Trey, my district manager, that this 4 to 5% is not going to hit on Friday. We do want to order that building, but I want to be able to see if I can get this price corrected. I'm more worried about steel studs and drywall guy, but he's been working for us forever. So we think we're going to get some help from our subcontractor base. And I know that because we have a very big master chart of all of our projects in a color code, and they're in the same boat. A lot of projects are getting delayed, and they're going to be hungry for projects. And when you're hungry, your price is different than when you're fat on projects. So that's what we're hoping for. If I'm the district, I would hold till we come back with our pricing, and I'm going to make sure that if there's any hitch in the metallic building, that they're going to raise the price. Then we can get with you guys and make that decision. But I'd like to first reprice it, make sure that's solid, make sure we know where we're at with it, and then make that decision.
Okay. Questions from anybody?
Sign off or anything, or any additional documentation for this project to move forward?
What was that? I didn't hear the front part of that, Neil.
I said we don't need anything to sign off for this to move forward. You're just going to go ahead and reprice and figure about 2 weeks to get back to us.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody else? No?
Did Judith have a question?
I do. I'm not quite sure when the contract was written and when it was agreed on. I thought once the contract was agreed on and all parties signed off on everything, that was a go to go forward. And so my question to the gentleman is, why wasn't the material ordered when the contract was signed and agreed upon?
Very good question. You don't order all the materials because you have to order, in this particular case, the metal buildings plans for permit. And the reason why we order it for plans for permit is because then we can make sure that we meet the intent of the project. Our structural engineer can review that plans for permit, and our MEP team can review those plans, and we make sure that those plans are accurate. And in most cases, we have red lines to those plans, meaning we may see something that the designer in the metal building manufacturing plant designed incorrectly based on what we need in the project. So we have to have them revise that set of plans. And we usually like to get that set of plans into regional building center because they are plans for permit to get our first round of comments so we know that we don't have any other issues. And then we order that metal building. So the metal building always gets delayed in the order until we get to a certain sequence in the project. If we'd ordered up front, we would have that building delivered on the site, and then we expose ourselves to misfabs or detailing issues. So it's the sequential order that makes it better for us and you guys so that we don't have any issues in the field once we get that product.
So how long does that take from the time that the contract is signed? How long is that time frame right there? Because I was under the assumption that this was signed like 6 months ago or something, that we all agreed on this quite a while ago, and it's only now becoming an issue with materials. I don't know. I'm just confused by that big gap from the time that we, signed, and then you go over the plans. And if you went over the plans, why couldn't you have started getting at least some of the material? I'm sorry. It's a little confusing, that big time gap there.
We've had.
It is.
Oh, go ahead, Steve.
It is, and the confusion between residential and commercial is that these superstructures or these metal buildings take this type of time frame in order to not only order for permit, but also to approve it before we order it for production to make sure we don't have any issues in the field. And the other thing that really hurts you in the commercial world is we had 210 calendar days to get what we call an amended development plan and a building permit. And that takes a tremendous amount of time. 210 days is a long time to get a permit.
Yes.
Development plan. But during that time, we don't want to order materials because we don't want to store them on the site, because then you got theft issues.
Right.
So I could tell you over 30 years of doing this, it's always a calculated risk for us to deliver a metal building on the site because it's a highly prized product for the thieves. So we always have to protect, when we deliver it. And the other problem is, it's a little more difficult, is we don't want to order that building for production. If I get it too early, then I have to store it, but I have to protect it. But then it's in the way of when we start the construction.
Got it.
We're always juggling that. And it's a couple semis that show up with a big pile of steel that we don't want to move several times, take risk of bending it or breaking it. So it's a calculated process. We don't want it too early. We don't want it too late. And unfortunately, because of these major issues in our industry, and we haven't seen this for a while, where we're having this type of volatility in the steel market. And if you go online and look up the steel market and look at the volatility, you're going to get a lot of data and information that's showing why this pricing is going crazy on us.
Well, thank you very much for explaining that. That did clear it up quite a bit. I really appreciate it. Sorry I took up all your guys' time.
Anytime.
Steve, this is John Martin. Oh, I guess my thing says Wendy, but I'm really John.
Hi, John.
Sure, Wendy. Sure.
So part of the confusion was that we thought, or some of us thought, that this was a guaranteed price until we read the fine print. And if you don't have a permit back from the county within 30 days of us signing the contract, then we're responsible for materials increase. Have you ever gotten a permit back in 30 days?
No, I wish I could.
That's why I was confused why you guys would put that in a contract when it's obvious that would never happen.
Because, and I agree with that statement, and I will tell you that we have that in there because it's a boilerplate contract, and we do want to protect ourselves from these price increases.
Sure.
And I can tell you over the last 10 years, we have never had this volatility that we have currently today. And,
Right.
and this is kind of a phenomenon, and actually it's very frustrating to us because it's something we don't want to do.
My other question for you is, we know that you guys do a huge percentage of the still buildings in El Paso County. How often has it happened that you've submitted plans to the county and the county came back and said, nope, you can't build it like that? So then you have to do a complete change of your building.
For example, we just had Falcon Fire, which we're putting in the air right now. We had the plans for permit. We built that same building 2 other times for Falcon Fire. We had it at 130 pounds per square foot wind load. We get through they missed it on the first set of comments. The second set of comments, they said we needed to change it to 140 pounds wind load. And that affected the timing because we had to go redline it, go back to the plan, have it redrawn. And that has happened.
That's because that's listed as an essential facility. Fire stations, police stations, hospitals. Your building does not fall into that category.
The only reason I asked the question is, if you see next week that we're going to get this big increase, do we order the building before we have the plans approved by the county and take the risk of them making a big change? Or do you guys feel confident in your engineering that everything's going to be good?
We are submitting to RBD in the next week, and we believe that we're okay with this project. Doesn't mean they won't come back with some comment. So I'm never 100% confident, and been doing it a long time. I got somewhere between 400 and 500 buildings, and you never know what's going to come out of those guys.
And my last question I believe I have is, there is a question on what is the price of the building? Is that the 322? So when we look at a 5% increase, what dollar figure do we start out with to say 5% increase on top of this?
I do not have that in front of me, but I will share that with you guys. I'll have Elliot send you our original order form and price, and that's the baseline, and then the change order is on top of that based on the new price increases. So we'll just share that with you, so it's open.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the original building price was $208,000. Sorry, I'm just pulling it up right now. $206,790. And then the revised contract price is $245,487.
And then we're looking
And
at a
that was-
possible increase of another 5% on that 240.
245, correct.
Okay.
And my manufacturer is going to call us if that happens. Right now, the one that they thought was going to happen on Friday, they have not allocated that. So before there's any more price fluctuations, because it went down the other day slightly, they're going to be contacting us, and we're going to be able to ink the order and prevent that one.
They would not raise it on us before telling us.
Yes.
Well, and that's where I have the concern where they say, hey, we're raising it on you. Do we push the button before we get it back from permitting and say yes? Would that be your recommendation to order it at that point in time, or do we wait until it comes back from permitting?
I really hate to take the chance on that. And if I was in a different market, I would say, let's just wait. But in this market, without knowing if that 4 and 5 is another 10, we're really analyzing that building because of the situation we're in. And we're going to make dang sure that we're there. And I still ain't 100% comfortable, but I'm more comfortable to get that building coming. And what does that mean? If I order that building and we've done a good enough job, if there's some glitch or hitch, then we got to deal with it in the field. And we do that quite often when they have misfabs that get built at the factory that get shipped out to the site without us knowing about it. It's just a factory glitch. Then we're in the field making corrections and changes. And when that happens, we get their structural engineer, our structural engineer, and we correct it. So at this point, that would be the only thing that would happen, is that we could make field changes.
And would that
we
change
order the
order,
production.
would that change order be on us?
No. I'd take responsibility for that one.
Well, that would make everybody feel much more comfortable then.
Agreed.
So Steve, what is your confidence level that we're still on schedule to complete this project by August?
We are still on schedule. We're about a week off on our permit submittal, and part of that was due to that parking lot glitch. We're hoping to make that up in permitting. We are on our second round of comments. We've already submitted our second round of comments. We're in our third review with the El Paso County, and hopefully with no other glitches, we're in our third review. We should be good. So if anything, we may be in over a week on our original 210 days for delivery. We believe we're going to start in March, and I'm more confident when I actually got a permit than I am prior to a permit. So unless there was some war or famine or drought that killed us, you're going to get your building.
And it's actually 210 days on construction, so we're looking at September for completion.
And one more question on materials. I'm sorry, but is there anything, the list of things that we got a couple of days ago shows how everything is going up. Insulation, the whole 9 yards. Drywall, is there anything that would it help us any or save us any money if we purchased any of that now?
It would just prevent future price increases. And we can, for example, thermal, we just put in an order and date stamp it, and then we ask for delivery after that. We have that relationship with thermal, the insulation guys. So as we go through those changes, and like I said earlier, I think the only one I'm more worried about is steel studs. And if we could buy, and we've done this many times, we've bought the steel stud package and we've stored it. We just don't want to store, and we'd have to double handle it then, which we don't like to do.
Okay. I guess we'll know more when you get your bids back.
Amen to that.
Any other questions for Steve or Elliot? All right. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys showing up and going through that with hopefully some good news here in the next couple of weeks.
Yep. Thank you guys as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you
for your time.
All right. Yeah. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
All right. Mr. Jed, Parks and Rec report.
All right. Since the last time we've seen you guys, it's been a little while. A lot of different things have happened, a lot of things going on, a lot of community events. So I'll just kind of give you a quick rundown of what I gave you on paper. Maintenance department, we had a little bit of change. Jeremy has moved. James has kind of taken over that lead spot there and continues to do a great job. Did a great job decorating for the holidays. We're still in close to done with those T-pads, but not quite yet done with them. Obviously weather issues. Pool has been totally painted. Looks beautiful. To kind of skip down further, we have a gentleman, Mr. Gomez, working on a mural. Slow and steady, but I think it's going to look really cool when it's done in there. But the walls have been painted, whitewashed. It looks nice and bright in there. Pool boiler for the mini pool that was replaced. We had that breakdown for a couple weeks there. And then we took the fence from RCE, that wooden picket fence, and we replanted that over at Horseshoe Park for a future parking lot down there near the playground, which I think will be really cool and kind of bring a lot of access down to that playground, that area, get a lot more use out of it. Obviously, we went through the RCE edition, different classes. We just continue to run them, continue to have people sign up, even through the COVID world. We're getting pretty good numbers, and we're excited to see what life would look like on the other side when painting classes and cooking classes, baking classes, when we don't have to cap them, and more people are willing to come out and join us for those. Senior activities, bunco, bingo, been really well attended. Those continue to grow. We had a trunk or treat back at the end of October. I couldn't remember if we had discussed that or not, but that was extremely well attended. Had a lot of cars end up signing up. We had a couple food trucks, hot chocolate truck, food truck there, and just seemed to be a really, really great night for everybody in the community with everything going on. Outdoor basketball court. The lines have been completed, lots of use, especially before the winter hit us. So that's been fantastic. We finally have signs over there kind of reminding kids to turn down the music and not curse so much and that type of world, but they're planted over there now. Winter basketball, we ran a camp right before the holiday and really good turnout for that. Definitely wanted to say a thank you to Pikes Peak Expeditionary School for hosting that. And then they've also stepped up and helped us with the youth basketball league that we are attempting to run. So far, pretty good turnout, pretty good feedback from the people I've talked to. Meridian Ranch didn't want to participate in those two this year, so we kind of lost that access to their gym just with everything going on with COVID. But Pikes Peak stepped up and helped us out a lot. So want to say thank you to them. Talked about the pool mural. Cookies with Santa event was really a big hit. We had 200 plus attend. We split it into 2 different sessions. We had some vendors there, food trucks, arts and crafts, all sorts of things. We found it was difficult, but we found a Santa that would actually come without a mask and have people sit on him and all that type of thing. And we didn't have to ask John, which was, I guess, a good thing. So, anyway, that was a really cool event. The kids had a blast. The photographer was fantastic, and it was just a really good day. We are part of a 12-week challenge that we just had the kickoff this past Saturday at Meridian Ranch Gym. That was well attended. We had representatives from our different fitness classes and things like that there. Just kind of handing out our flyers and doing demos for our different things. And again, we're looking to draw some interest from outside the community, people kind of attending our classes and then kind of hooking them hopefully and getting them to sign up for stuff after that 12 weeks is over. Again, I couldn't remember if we had talked about El Paso County elections. Their rental went really smooth. they were thankful, and obviously went really well. So hopefully we can continue that relationship down the road. Self-defense classes, the Krav Maga has really taken off. With COVID and the guidelines kind of continuously changing, sometimes we're maxed out at 8, 9, 10. This past one we had 14, which was fantastic. But each month this guy's willing to come back and run a little package for us, 3 Thursday evenings, and it's a good price point for the community. So that's really been a really good addition. And then we are promoting and attempting a whole bunch of different things. The schools and pools program, my thought process on that was between 12 and 3, 12 and 4 each day. Our pool doesn't get too much use. So we reached out to all the local schools in the area. We have 3 that are very interested in doing something with us, whether it's an attachment to their PE program or whether they use it as an incentive program, but get their kids away from the computer and out into the real world and use our pool a little bit, especially during that downtime each day. So we've put together a kind of a little package idea for them. And like I said, 3 of them are interested in that program. So hopefully we can get them to sign up and finalize that. Paddleboard yoga. We just started that beginning of this month. And, she's had 3 or 4 people. I think she was up to 6 at one class, and really cool. I think I sent you guys some pictures, and if not, I can send you those pictures. Kayaking is really cool. We have a gentleman that comes in, and obviously everyone brings their own little kayak, and they work on different skill work and that type of thing. And I think I sent you those pictures also, but if you ever want to watch the video, it's really cool to kind of watch them flipping around and all sorts of different tricks. So that's really been a cool little addition for us. What else have we done? Stroller strength and conditioning classes, mommy and me yoga. I mean, we're just really trying to get out there and kind of open up the box and see what else we can kind of fill our rooms with. We have the space, so might as well be using it. And obviously giving the community and the surrounding community something different and something to do. This might be poor timing with everything else going on, but the estimates for balcony bathroom have come in. I gave you some numbers there, and again, I'll kind of say that these are numbers as of now. If we push the project down the road, obviously those numbers might change a little bit, as we all are kind of learning right now. But they did say whenever we decide to go with that and order that structure, it'll be a 5 to 6 month process to build and bring it to the site. But those numbers kind of bring us under budget for that balcony bathroom. Initially, I was looking for the okay to continue that process, but it's something for you guys to discuss, whether you want to hold off or kind of move forward based on the numbers that are sitting in front of you. And then my last piece is RCE front area. The lobby has been remodeled and almost completed, and I think it looks fantastic. Would love for you guys to stop by and check it out. Fresh coat of paint, new desk, some COVID barriers, new touch-free thermometer and hand wash station, which we actually have at both rec centers. We've moved one of the lobby walls to increase the space in the cardio room, which will eventually be a multi-use room once that new building is built and we can get those machines over in the other building. That room now has about 160 or 180 extra square feet on that and looks really, really sharp. So that came in under budget also, which was kind of nice to see, by about $4,000. So that's kind of where we're at. A lot of different moving pieces, a lot of things going on, but we're excited and keep plugging along.
Right. Anybody have any questions for Jed?
Just thanks, Jed, for all you're doing. Yes, sir.
Looks good. John, we should get some wetsuits and kayaks and go over there.
Yeah, no.
So Jed, were you looking for the okay to continue the process on balcony bathroom this evening?
Initially when I wrote this and sent it over, I was with
our previous discussion. That's up for you guys if you want to table it. I think the price point on it is really good. Obviously, the longer you wait, we're learning that, especially in this time period, things are going to go up. I think eventually the park absolutely needs it, especially if we're going to put John's pickleball courts over there and we're going to grow our different events and all those different things that we plan on doing and we're hoping to do. Eventually, you're going to need a bathroom over there. So the numbers are there. I would love the okay to do it. But then again, I totally understand if we want to be cautious with the money that's been budgeted and make sure that we have enough for the other project. I get that that's priority one for all of us. So that's up to you guys to discuss that.
Currently in our budget, we have 200,000 set aside for the balcony bathrooms. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the increase in cost again
For which one?
for the bathroom?
Did
We got $200,000 set aside to do the bathroom repair at Balkan Park.
Yep.
How much over budget will we be going?
So we have 200,000. You'd be way under budget, to be honest with you. You have an estimate for right around $60,000 for the structure itself. You have an estimate right around $9,000 for the electric to bring it to the site. And I think when I sent this out, we hadn't gotten the Frazee Construction estimate for the plumbing part to bring that. And that is just over 26,000. So if you add that up, 926 and change and 60. I guess to be safe, you're just under 100. So
if we're under 100,000, we're on target and we've still got funding left over and we're under budget. I don't see any reason why we couldn't approve it.
Yeah, I don't see any reason why we can't approve it. He had quotes come in for half of what we budgeted for.
if the building RCE comes in at maximum what we allocated, how close are you going to be on your budget?
I was kind of running through some different ideas or scenarios, obviously knowing that this is all kind of intertwined. So worst case scenario, that 1.68, right? That's what we've kind of allocated with the building and the contingency. If we had to forego some extra things like the outdoor fitness, not do as many pickleball courts or not do any of them at all, right? I mean, those are types of conversations to have. Give up one thing to make sure we have something else. I think we all agree the building is priority one. And so that I totally get if you want to hold off on the bathrooms. I think the price is a good price point. I think it's a good opportunity to grow that park. You're going to be well under budget, which is nice. So
we're still in winter right now, and I don't know how much demand a bathroom would be over at Balkan Park in January. I know we haven't seen much snow this year, but I think it's going to still get colder between January and February. We're looking at 2 weeks of delay time to get figure steel prices and some ideas as far as what we can budget based on what Hammers Construction's just talked about. So I don't know. If we had plenty of budget left in place, and it'd be fine with me to move forward. If we're looking at being a little tight on this and we want to be cautious, I don't think the bathroom's a huge push. We could delay it until next month. By that time, we'll have a much better idea of steel pricing and what's going on in the market based on the new building. So we could postpone and decide on this in February.
I just think on the bathroom piece, if I see the picture right, that's concrete walls, right? It's a concrete vault bathroom, or is that brick and mortar?
let me
I think
double
it's
check.
prefab.
Yeah, it's a prefab.
Is it prefab?
Jed, I was just thinking, I didn't ask you who does the permitting with the regional for this facility? Is that
So-
us or is that the bathroom company?
So each entity does their own. So for example, if you read Frazee Construction's proposal, they have their permit fees in there. Same with Ross Electric. As far as the building itself, I believe that's on us.
And so I can tell you that, you know, we're a few months out getting a permit. And I don't know, you know, what that there's going to be a cost involved. I'm not sure what that will be, but I'm wondering if we could start moving ahead with the permitting. If we get a permit, there's a certain time period that we have to build, but it seems like we could possibly move forward with getting permitting, but it would depend on what the bathroom company is going to allow us to. You know, obviously we need plans from them, you know, for the building department to approve, so.
I would be more inclined to start that process while we're dealing with the bigger structure right now. Let that process kind of run its course into the county and see what we get in the next couple weeks out of this. Not that the two are intertwined. We've allocated the money forward for both projects. But on the flip side of that, knowing the material costs that are going to go up, I mean, we just heard that, and that's why I asked about what kind of structure that bathroom is. He just said we're going to see another large increase in concrete in April. So locking in something in March would be more beneficial than waiting until April if it's a concrete structure. And it's, you know, you're going to basically double the price. So I would be more inclined to go with the let's get a design, let's get it to permit and see what we can get back. It's winter right now. I don't know how we're not in a huge need for it right this minute, but it's definitely something that's been on the purview for the last couple of years. So I mean, it's definitely something we're going to need out there as we're growing the facilities and the amenities out there, I should say.
Okay.
But
Rachel, you're the money one. What's your thought?
I think I personally would wait until we heard back from Hammers in the next 2 weeks. I would probably start the permitting if we could through the county, just because we know that is a long process. So that's my opinion.
anybody else?
I agree.
So I would say we're fine with the permitting. I don't think we need to motion, or do we want a motion to move forward with the entire project? And
Well, we're still in prelim stage here, so I mean, if we move forward with the entire project, you've got pricing and everything already lined out.
well, let's get a design. Let's get permit pricing and everything, and let's get that out to the board, and let's take a look at how the whole project fleshes out prior to moving forward with a decision on it, just to make sure that yeah, we're getting bids and stuff and numbers from these contractors, but I don't want to be doing this every meeting where we're talking about, yeah, they just sent us another sheet. Now our price is going up another 10%. But let's get it. I would rather look at it fleshed out in one piece, full pricing, permit costs, estimated time for permitting and completion, and go that route than just rush into approving it right now. And I mean, we have, I know it's not a lot, but we have the facilities out there now. It's winter time, so I think we can manage for another couple months if we had to out there. Anybody object to any of that?
Just one question. So with what you said earlier about permitting and how all that needs to go, Are we acting as the general contractor for this project?
I believe so.
Do you have to be licensed to be a GC for the project?
I'm not sure if the county would require that since it's a prefab building, but we'll find that stuff out.
My other concern is the cost point on it is this may have to go to RFP process. Did we go through that process already, or are we just, did we hand select one contractor, or we get multiple bids on this structure?
We got a few different bids on this.
Okay. And this was the best one out of them, because the board hadn't seen it.
Hammers was 182 with a 10% contingency, so that's 200,000. I think that we based the budget off of that initial thing from Hammers. And then there was a third company. It's in my packet here, but there was a third company and they were somewhere in between the two.
Okay. Let's get the bid sheets out to the board so they can look over those.
You got it.
contracts and things. Those are all over what anybody in the district can approve. So let's get those out to the board and let's take a look at those between now and March. And let's engage with what the design looks like from each one of them to pros and cons of them. I know that's that's just, this is like lift station 1, where we have a couple close bids, and then it sounds like we've got one that's drastically lower than the rest, which doesn't cut the mustard sometimes. So not that I'm opposed to it. I like it. Saves us a bunch of money. But let's get those out and let's take a look and see, and let's make sure we're doing it the right way.
You got it.
I'd also say push on the permitting and see if we can get all the permits going, because we know that they're all delayed because of COVID. So, find out if we can actually get that
Who
permitting.
designed it? The individual contractors, or did we have somebody design it and then just give the design out to the
No, it's
company?
one of their designs. They have numerous designs you can pick from.
Mhm.
So this is their Cortez model. So we chose that one based on our need.
Yeah, we've just got to remember that we have different rules that we have to follow under
Yep.
special district than just reaching out for those. And that being over 60 grand has got to come to the board. So.
Yep.
That's why I asked the question about, are we being the general contractor? Does that fall into all the rules that we have to follow? I don't know that answer.
There's a lot to flesh out there. So let's flesh all that out, and then let's we'll take another look at it here in March, and we should have a better understanding of kind of which direction all these prices are going to go and everything in the construction world, given we have a project that's 20 times that going on right now. I would just say let's kind of see how that fleshes right now, and then we'll get to the bathroom.
You got it.
Let's get the rest of that put together so the board can take a look at it here in March. And
Yep.
Anybody object to that?
Good to me.
Okay. Thanks, Jed. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Water and wastewater report. Jerry, nobody can hear you. You're muted.
No one reads lips.
How far did you get?
I was done.
All right.
So sorry about that. Okay, so monthly maintenance, lift station, that seal was replaced. And that pump is back online. Meridian bypass, Of course, that's not our project, except that it is tying into our sewer system, so we are monitoring that. And that did include that 6-inch under drain pipe that we're hoping to connect to Rusty's under drain and bring that water down to a place where we can dispose of it and get credit for it. We are doing real well at the water resource recovery facility. We're all test results are in compliance. We just finished quarterly annual metals and as well as a fourth quarter wet test. That's all in addition to the normal tests we do. Everything came back in good shape. Our annual biosolids report was submitted to CDPHE. That was in very good shape. We had to do a no exposure stormwater permit. This is something new that they've come up with. It's just a time consuming paperwork that has to be submitted to the EPA. But generator was serviced. All systems are operational. Plant is performing very well. In the water side, we're up to date on our bacteria samples. The wastewater project is completed. We're online. We've been online for quite some time now. The valve connecting Woodman Hills to Meridian Service Metro District has been closed. We are no longer pushing water up to the water tanks in Meridian. We're completely isolated from them. I know Rachel's pretty happy about that. Just because of the ongoing accounting and billing and that had to take place because of that connection. And of course, quarrels over what kind of water prices we're supposed to be paying. Now, at the West Water Tank, we do not have power there. So we had to install solar panels to power our controls. That's been accomplished. Until that was operational, we were having to take readings on the tank manually so that we didn't overflow and obviously it didn't run out of water. The one thing that's left on that is our controls for our transfer pump station are tied into the tanks at Meridian. So that has to be reprogrammed so that it starts to run off of the signal that we receive from our new water tank. And that requires a little more expertise than we have on staff. We'll have to bring in somebody to accomplish that. Our backflow reports are ongoing. This is something that we do annually. We have to monitor all the backflow devices in the commercial buildings in our collection, in our distribution system. One of the things that we're looking at is the new transfer station, which is at the Theriot tank site. The current transfer station there is old. It's obsolete. We were having problems up there. Ross Electric managed to find parts to make it operational. So it's a very good thing that we're moving forward on the new transfer pump station. Right now we're basically in design. We met with the county once concerning this. It's called an early assistance meeting. They waived a lot of things for us. It probably saved us about $60,000. That's all paperwork done by our engineers. So that was a very good thing. Paperwork and permits from the county. I'll keep you posted on that, on our progress there, but it's looking like a real good project. And like I said, the current transfer station is obsolete, parts are hard to come by and maybe impossible. So this is very timely. They did in doing maintenance, of course, this is the time of the year they do maintenance on all the filter plants since water demand is very low. They discovered that we were losing some media out of our filters at FP3. We had set those, it's due to backwash that causes the media to leave with the backwash water. That was all set according to Filtronics technicians. They're the ones that determined our backwash flow. And obviously it was too high a flow and it washed out some of our media. We're recovering that from the backwash tank and we'll replace it into the filters. And then they did also drain and clean the clear well at FP3. We did put new media in those filters some time ago. And when you do that, you get a lot of fines that basically wash off the media and end up in your clear well. So that it did require a little bit of work to get that removed. Just on the side, just this week, and it's really since this board pack has gone out, we've been discussing our tank situation. You know, we have a tank up Meridian. I did offer them to sell it to them. I haven't heard back from them. I have contacted a salvage company to come and remove that tank, which we will do if Meridian doesn't want to buy it. The other option that we have, we discussed recently, is that we take the tank and move it down to the location of the transfer pump station. We have a 1 million gallon tank on that site and another 250,000 gallon tank on that site. The 250,000 gallon tank doesn't do us a lot of good. It mainly provides us with an opportunity to service the 1 million gallon tank, so we can take the 1 million gallon tank out of service, and then we still have that 250,000 gallon tank. However, in our 10-year program, we are always looking at ways to improve our system, and one way to improve it would be to add storage at the transfer station. And so possibly we can have this tank moved to the new location. And also we have a use for the 250,000 gallon tank. Anyway, that's something we're looking into. I'll keep you posted on how that plays out. Construction is ongoing in the area. We have Bentgrass, Frankel Marketplace, of course, Falcon Fire Station. Hammers is putting up that building. We are working with Oakwood Homes. They need to relocate our Tamlin line. We're working on getting that section of the Tamlin line upsized from 12-inch to 16-inch at no cost to the district. That would be an advantage to us. Just in the as time goes on, we may continue to upgrade the Tamlin line, and so it only makes sense to upsize this section while we have the opportunity. I have had a few people contact me about inclusion into the district. They're small lots, 5-acre lots, nothing large, but we certainly would welcome the new customers. Let's see. We do have a company that's now doing our locates. It's freed up our personnel quite a bit. That was welcome. We've hired 2 new water and wastewater personnel. One of them is a young man that lives in the district. He's a solid addition to our team. We did release one of our personnel, and he's taken his place. The other person that we hired is replacing another one of our personnel that's leaving. And so he's on staff working with his replacement and getting good training. We're fortunate to be able to have him work with his with a mentor and come up to speed on our district and all that's required of him. So
Tell Danny thank you and teach the new guy all the good stuff and leave all the old tricks behind.
yeah, that's what I'm concerned about, but yeah, I'll pass that on. So we did have a problem with our closed circuit TV system. We did finally get that repaired. It was complicated because of a change in ownership of the dealership. So, but that's been taken care of. One of the new things that also has come down the pipe is a risk and resilience assessment that goes hand in hand with our emergency response plan. This is something that I'm working with JDS on accomplishing. They're working with several other districts on developing this. So we'll just piggyback on that and take advantage of everything they learned from working with these other districts. This has to be submitted by the end of June. And our emergency response plan has to be updated and submitted 6 months after that. So a little bit of paperwork that has to be accomplished to satisfy the EPA. That takes care of our system. I have to hand it to our staff for keeping our system operational and everything's working smoothly. So everyone has water when they open the tap, and I don't know if it's more importantly or not, but when they put something down the drain, that's where it goes. It doesn't come back. So hats off to our staff for keeping all of our constituents in water and wastewater service.
All right, just a couple of things, Gary. You said they're running solar over there at West Water Tank.
Right.
What's going to be the backup over there? Or are we solely dependent on solar over there?
Solely dependent on solar. Like I said, it's only for the controls. It's not a very large array of solar panels. It doesn't take much power to run the controls. We share that site with Sterling Ranch. Sterling Ranch has a 1 million gallon water tank there and 2 wells. And that's been up there for about 3 years. Sterling Ranch is running that system off of a generator. They've been fielding a generator and running a generator for 3 years to provide water for their development over there.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a little bit ridiculous. I would suggest that if Sterling Ranch ever would bring power to the site, that we may take advantage of that. But like I said, we don't require as very much power at all, and the solar panels do a very good job. So it's solar panels with battery backup, of course, and
All right. Where are we at with the water replacement from Meridian? The water that went to them?
So we had taken back a significant amount of that water. The wastewater plant is connected to Meridian's system, and so by the time we took back a certain amount of water, and then we accounted for the water that the wastewater plant used, all of the water we had sent up to Meridian was accounted for. We actually ended up owing Meridian, I think it was about $5,000 worth of water. So
Okay. And then the tank, as far as selling it to Meridian, scrapping it, or moving it, what are the costs associated with each one of those?
I don't have costs yet. I've submitted all the information that the companies needed to prepare a bid. I have not heard back from them on those costs yet. Like I said, that's a very recent development. So we'll analyze all the options and I'll keep you posted. But until we decided that there was a possibility of moving that tank, we were kind of in a box, in a corner with Meridian, because they were our only option for that tank was to sell it to them. So our option was to sell it to Meridian or to scrap it. But since we decided there was an opportunity to utilize that tank, we decided that we would look into that option also. So anyway, that's, there's no real rush on that. I mean, obviously, the tank is gonna be used where it's sitting, and it's not gonna cause anybody any hardship. So I would think that within the next month or so, we would have some prices on what it's gonna cost to do these different things.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Any questions for Jerry? Okay. We'll move on to annual administration resolution. Which looks a lot like the one from last year. Be the 2021 annual administrative resolution, 2021-01-28. Did anybody see any issues in here? Do I have a motion to approve the resolution as written? Ted, you looked at this?
Yes. Anyway, it's fine.
All right. Do I have a motion for approval or disapproval of the?
I make a motion that we approve it.
Okay.
Second.
All right, I got a motion by John to approve it, a second by Neil. Any further discussion on it? All right, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. I'll bring that up tomorrow, Rachel, with the soft cost contract. All right, board follow-up. With any items for board follow-up? Any outstanding issues that? All right. Okay, we'll move on to item 14. That'll be public comment regarding current board business not on the agenda. Is there anybody who would like to make public comment? No? Daniel, did you have anybody message?
No.
Okay. Going once, going twice, sold. All right, item 15, any other business? Any other business we need to address?
I just want to take a second and thank Jerry and Rachel and the staff for putting together the party last week. I thought that turned out very nice.
My apologies for not being able to make it.
My apologies as well.
It was a very nice dinner. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
All right, if there's no other business, can somebody please, I don't think that we did item 5. I think I skipped it. Did anybody catch that? I think we went straight to item 6.
I think you're right. You did.
Okay.
Does that mean we have to do this over?
Yeah, we're gonna start over again. Can you get Steve Hammer and Elliot Smith back on the phone? No. Let's, we'll just go back to item 5 for approving the agenda. And then if you guys can make the adjustment to the agenda, because there's one other correction that needs to be made as well. And that's at the top. This is the meeting for Thursday, January 28th, 2021. And it says 2020. And with that, I will ask for a motion to approve the agenda with those corrections.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the amended corrections.
Troy, one below that also, Woodman Hills Metro District will hold its January 2020. So that needs to be changed also.
Sure, we would all like to back up, Daniel, back to before all this chaos happened. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So we have a motion to approve the agenda with the corrections.
Second.
And a second from John. Any other discussion on it? All right, all in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye. Right, motion carries. Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion for adjournment.
Okay.
Second.
And a lot of seconds. Okay. With that, all in favor of adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you guys very much, everybody that attended. We will see you on February 2 seconds.
25th.
25th at 5:30 p.m. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Daniel, you look much better this meeting than the last one.
thank you.
I'm kind of digging the longer hair, man. Is that a mullet? Are we going for a mullet? I mean, what are we doing?
I have a cut scheduled for Saturday,
Oh, okay.
but I wanted to make sure you could see it first.
Oh, I forgot. That's how you roll. You schedule your haircuts like a month out.
As a
Probably
military,
got the stylist coming to the pad.
yeah, yeah.
That's a COVID cut with a Flowbee.
All right.
Good night.
Everybody have a
All right,
great
y'all.
weekend.
Good night.
Good night.